Two types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's.
Hold it! So you brought it to the forensics department?
If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it approved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert.
And she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective.
The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it.
Makes sense. After all, a man was stabbed here.
And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman?
As I said, there were two types of blood found on the shoe. And the other was the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's blood.
Hold it! You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the victim with a blood test.
You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie?
Huh.
Well, speak up!
Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was performed in cold blood.
That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright.
Actually, if you combine all the various blood types, there are millions of types. It's practically impossible to narrow a blood sample down to one person. Or so I hear.
Millions of types?
If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone's but Miss Lana Sky's.
So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe.
That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that.
This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
Hold it! I can't let this evidence go without a fight.
You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole batch of soup.
Mr. Wright, do you or don't you have a problem with the shoe?
A problem? This is critical. What's wrong with the victim's shoe? If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there is one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction.
That gleam in your eyes. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you?
Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with this evidence.
Take that! I wonder if you noticed. There's blood on the bottom of this shoe.
Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe.
Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe.
It makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Take that! The problem lies in the footprint.
The footprint?
Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't there any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime?
Aha!
As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. Objection! This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Objection! If there were bloody prints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort.
Order! 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 Well, witness?
What?
Great going, Mr. Wright. But it's true that the lack of a footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint.
Oh.
That's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint.
Think, Mr. Wright, think!
Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions.
What?
Hold it! I see. Now I get it.
Get what?
Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony.
What are you talking about?
Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect.
The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr!
I thought that was a strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty?
Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory.
Witness! Well, was the oil drum empty?
The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water.
Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason?
Aha! You don't mean...
Yes. The suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason, and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Ah!
That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs.
Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence.
That reminds me. Ms. Skye's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him?
So my sister's blood on the shoe. That's when it happened?